Hey everyone, today I'd like to walk you through my development workflow. And I'm going to be creating some automation to improve my Excalidraw workflow. And so I'm going to walk you through how I test and design that solution. I'm going to be automating the Clothesline method for myself, and those of you who are not familiar, I've taken this from Stephen Pressfield, and he talks about the Clothesline method in the context of creative writing, and his basic idea is that you hang on the clothesline the beginning and the end of your story, and then as you think about the storyline as it evolves, you hang the different elements in between, and this is just a very nice visual way and also a nice metaphor to think about how you build up your journey from A to B. But of course, this approach is not only helpful in creative writing. This approach is helpful in many different endeavors. It could be project planning, it could be planning a solution, it could be course design, it can also be just simply a presentation on a topic. Anything where you need to cover the journey from A to B and you need a bit of a visual support to think through how you do that, I think the clothesline method is great. So the way this clothesline works for me today is I go ahead and copy an existing card. I do this by holding down the Alt key and click dragging the item, and with that I create a copy and then modifying the text. So this is a new card like this. Maybe I don't need this additional line here. So I've added this. I can also go ahead and change the color if I want the color of the clip. So I can make this whatever color I want, and then I can go ahead and hang it wherever this card belongs. And overall, I think this is not a very bad process. It takes a couple of clicks. I can also add some graphics to it, and again, I can use my existing stencil library, or I can of course go ahead and draw. Well, now I'm just going to choose this roadblock sign, whatever it means in this context. And once I have my small icon or drawing on my card, I can group it. I'm using Control G, but you can also do this from the context menu by right clicking. The default in Obsidian for Control G, by the way, is the graph view, so I went ahead and changed that default to Alt G, and then the graph doesn't pop up when I'm using Excalidraw and I'm doing some grouping. Now, what would be nice, however, is if I could add some detail to this card. For example, add some actions or add some detailed description. These cards are quite small. So what I was thinking is I can actually create a new note. And so I'm going to open my clothesline here and my untitled here. And this is, I'm just going to call this for the time being card details. And in this note, I'm going to create a section for each card. So introducing sketchnoting is the first one, and maybe I'm not going to do all of them, but I'm just going to, don't need to be an artist. Maybe I'm going to create these two sections, and then here I can add whatever detail I want. It can be multiple paragraphs can be as long as I want it to be. And I can even add some to-dos, and let me just add those to-dos. So let's say this is to-do 1, and then this is to-do 2. You get the idea. And then I can do, of course, this details for the rest as well, right? So I can have this supporting document. So I have my drawing here and I have my supporting document here. Then what I can do is I can actually add a link to this. So I'm just going to select the text here. Where am I? And oops, I'm going to add this link here, and this is card details hash. I need to clean this up a bit. Card details hash introducing sketchnoting, like this. And if I now switch this to preview mode, then this becomes a link. And if I hover on this link, then you can see that the card details pop up. I can do this also for the next one. So let me do it like this. Let me just show you how that would look like. So I can say card details hash. Don't need to be an artist, and yes, I'm going to put that here. And so then if I hover on this, then I can see the details for that. I can even, so here I can even tick the action, and you can see that the action gets ticked off. So this is actually, I think, quite nice. I can also do a couple of things. I can go ahead and maybe do the following, because I want to condense this link such that it fits in the corner right there. So there my idea is the following. I'm going to remove the pin and add an alias. So let's just see in terms of the alias I would want to use. I was thinking to use quotation marks, so I looked up the Unicode quotation mark, so I think this is going to be a nice character to use. And so let me get back here, and what I'm going to do is here I'm going to add the pipe character, so that's the vertical line, and paste my alias, and then this already is much shorter, so it almost fits, you can see. But I need to do one more thing. I need to get rid of that pin, so I'll switch to Markdown view, and I'm going to just type an additional key here, and that's the Excalidraw link prefix, and that should be just empty. And if I do this and I come back here, then you can see that the link prefix is gone. And if I hover on this, then I can actually see the details. So I can take this item right here, and I can actually group these two together. So I'm going to control group that, and now I have a card that I can look at the card details just simply by using the control key and hovering over that. And of course I can do the same with this one as well, and it is actually, I think, an almost reasonable workflow. I think it is not really efficient. So I think you would agree with me that at this time the way this works is a bit cumbersome. Of course, I can have my link, and if I go ahead and alt copy this and come in here and edit, I can rewrite it, I can add stuff here, but I think it is still a bit cumbersome to make this happen. So what I'm thinking is the following. If I copy one of these elements, so let me take this card and I'm going to just create a copy of it using Control-C, and let me open up a text editor and paste this in. So yeah, so this is not extremely user-friendly. This is how the copied element, so this element, this is how it looks like. Actually, if I would come in here, let me just show you. So I'm going to introducing, I search for the text, so here you go. Here's my introducing sketchnoting line. Now notice that there's this \n, which means it's a new line, but I can go ahead and I'm going to say whatever. Nothing comes to mind, but I'm going to change introducing to whatever, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this text and then press Ctrl-V in Excalidraw, and you can see that actually what was pasted is whatever sketchnoting. So this actually works quite nice, but it is not yet perfect. So let me show you why it's not yet perfect. So I'm going to add a third line to this for the sake of demonstration, and this is next line. That's going to be the name of that. Great. And I'm going to not save this, but I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. And what you can see is these lines are now a bit crowded. So if I actually come here and double click on this and edit it and then unedit it, then you can see that the correct sizing was achieved. So when I change the text, then actually the size of the text box needs to be changed as well. So we will need to do something about that as one example. Also, of course, I need to look for the link, and the link is going to be somewhere card details. Come on, card. There is the card details here. It's a bit card. What was the name of my file? Card details. Yes. Why am I not? Oh, yes. I'm not seeing the card details because I actually need to copy paste this element, not in preview mode, but I need to. So right now, I actually don't see this text, but the Excalidraw element only includes this Unicode quotation mark. So if I come here and search for this Unicode mark that I should find, it's right here, but this is not the text I really need. In fact, I need the link text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to raw mode, which of course looks ugly like this. I'm going to copy this object, so with the entire link. If I go back to preview mode, then of course that is going to be still that small link in the corner. I'm just going to delete that, we don't need it. I come back here, I delete this and paste my new item, and you can see here the card details introducing sketchnoting. So if I want, I can, for example, change this to don't need to be an artist, and then it is going to change my link. And well, I showed you previously what I can do with introducing sketchnoting, so I can change those as well. And if I copy and come back here and paste, then I may need to change from raw mode back and forth, but now the link actually works. So that's what we want to achieve. Right, so now we know how to modify this text file. So what I want to do is I want to create a templater script that will do the following when I am on this, when I activate the title, so the heading line. I want a shortcut that goes ahead and takes the title, copies the heading text, and then does this editing for me, that it will place that text to replace this text item, and will also update the link here as well, and places it on the clipboard so I can paste it in. And my idea is, the workflow I'm going to be doing is, when I want to add a new element to the drawing on the right hand side, I'm first going to create my new card. I may even add some details if I want, whatever. I'm not going to leave that here, but I'm going to press my shortcut and come over here and paste it, and my expectation is that this will then speed up my process, because this will paste a card with this text on it and with the link in the bottom right. So that's the idea, and maybe we can already go ahead and just create one more document here. So this is going to be my new note, and this is going to be my clothesline script. And then let me just think this is the format, right? I always forget the characters to use. Let me just, yes, that is indeed the right format. Okay, so let me take a look. I'm afraid that my templater might be out of date, or may not even be updated in my test environment. So indeed, templater was off. That's why the text didn't, you see, because when templater is on, I should see a syntax highlighted text. In this case, I did not. So this is where we want our code to go, and let me just do this. So I will want to add stuff to the clipboard. What I wanted to do here is, so this is my const result equals, and for the time being I'm just going to paste here this long text that we have. And what I want to do is I want to add a couple of items up here. So this is just to prepare our code. So I think I want a const card title equals, and we will work on that. I also want a const, so what I will want is a width, You'll see how we will do it. Const height, and I also need a const baseline. I'll explain in a second why these are important. And I actually think that's all the constants I need. And then what I will want to do is, no, I will need a card title, and I need a const card title wrapped. And we are going to be replacing all of these declarations with numbers. I'm just, for the time being, I'm just creating some placeholders. And so, because I'm going to use the card title, which is the section heading, to edit my link right here at the bottom here. So I'm going to take this text, delete it, and I'm going to add dollar curly brackets and value. So what this does is this will replace the dollar curly brackets cards value with the actual value of the variable. I think we need one more, and that is going to be the const card detail file, or let's just call it file name, right? So we are going to pick the file name up from templater as well, but so this is what we do here. And let me just go ahead and type these details in, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so one more thing I did here is I changed the font size, and I'm going to change this font size to 10. It is not really that necessary, but it will be easier to work with a whole number instead of that 10 point something. For that reason, I'm actually going to change the font size here as well. So this is the font size of my link. I'm going to change this to 10 as well, and I think that is okay. So what I did is I created these constants, and I actually added them in the text. It takes a bit of looking around that you know that you're adding it to the right object. Maybe I can show you this here a bit better, that so you can see that this object that is, or element that is the text element, the introducing sketchnoting element, is a couple of lines long from here to here, and indeed takes a bit of time to find the stuff here, but here's my font size within that, and then here's my width, my height is somewhere, etc. So you can see here's my width, my height, and my baseline. These are the three variables, width, height, and baseline, that Excalidraw uses to set the right box size. So let me just look for the templater help. So this is going to be Obsidian templater clipboard function, paste current clipboard. So, found it. Here's my text. This is Navigator Clipboard write text, and I'm just going to place my variable here, result, like this. And for the time being, let's just say instead of, let's just make this 50 50 20, just so it's not, and card title, test title, and this is going to be test title, and this is I think the actual file name I can get pretty quick. Like this. And hopefully what this will result in, so let's just execute this script now. So what I've done here is I added some mock-up values here, and I went ahead and added this line to the end to write the material to the clipboard. So if I execute this, then I get an error. Templater parsing error, result is not defined, so what the heck. Okay, spelling mistake. Okay, so now this is on the clipboard, and if I come here and open my drawing, let me just see what happens if I click paste. This is not yet as good as I would want it to be. Okay, so after a long and hard look at my code, I found where the issue is, and this is the issue, and that's actually a stupid error on my side. This was actually a new line character which broke the JSON output, and I need to escape this because I actually want /n or /n in the text. And so that was the issue. If I just have /n, then the card title wrapped constant was test new line title. So I need to change it to //, and so let me just make it bigger like this. So now if I run my script, Clothesline script, and I paste it here, then indeed I get this almost good looking solution. Of course the sizing of the text is not good, and but if I look at it in preview mode, then I already have the right text here, and indeed it cannot find the test title section in the page because it simply does not exist. So that's also an issue. So now let's see what can we do about the text element, and for that let's look at the Excalidraw Automate, and let's just experiment a little with Excalidraw Automate. Let me just find the right window here. We are going to look at Excalidraw Automate, and so you can go online and find Excalidraw Automate help. I'll put this link in the description of the video so you can find it. And so we have a whole bunch of good functions here, and we're going to be actually looking at the add text function, and we're also going to use the wrap text function for our purposes. And so if I look at add text, here we go, adding objects. So if I come here and I look for add text, then this is how the add text looks like. I need to provide all in all 3 numbers. Add text is going to use the basic object format. So if I come back here and I'm looking at the element style, then the element style has a font size property, so I will need to set the font size property. But so let's start to experiment here. First of all, I'm going to say that EA equals Excalidraw Automate, and then I want to reset EA. That's always how you start any script that cleans everything that was previously set. And then I want to set the font size actually to 10. And then I want to call the add text command, and I'm going to just now actually this is going to be good, except that I'm going to want here to call the wrap text function, and I want to wrap this to, so I'm not going to put in a new line character, but I'm going to wrap this to 10 characters long. So this is going to be 10 characters long. And so with this I created a new object, and I want to read that object. So I'm going to look at the elements dictionary, and I'm going to use the returned ID, and that is going to be my element. And then I can take the width of the element, I can take the height of the element, and I can take the baseline of the element as variables. So that's what we are going to use to customize our templater script. Okay, so we're going to use these in our script. So let's just start to copy the elements over to our script here. Maybe for the time being I'm going to close that and this, and I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see better what I'm writing. So let's start with creating my Excalidraw Automate constant. Then I'm going to call reset, and then let's just, it's easier to copy stuff from here. So we had the font size set to 10, and then I'm going to call the add text function. So I'm just adding a simple or single text element, constant ID equals text. So I'm capturing the ID, and indeed maybe 10 characters was a bit too short, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's say 12 characters is going to be our length. We can experiment with this. Maybe this can even be 14 characters long. And then I'm using this dictionary item. So I'm going to search for my const element is going to be, I don't need the E here. That's going to be the ID here. And then we are pretty good. What I'm going to do is I still need to grab the title. So we still have a task to do to capture the heading title, so that's still to be done. But other than that, here I can already use this element width, element height, and element baseline like this. And so this actually should result in a good outcome, but let me do this. I'm going to copy these two variables and we are going to do it like this. That's the card title, and this one I'm going to call the wrap text. So this is going to be the card title wrapped, and this one is going to be card title like this. The wrap function doesn't need the okay, so I think we're good. I initiate Excalidraw. I still have a to-do here to get the current active line and take the heading text from the current active line. But other than that, so this is almost good now. And I'm just going to call this the test title multi-line, just for the sake of our experiment. And then I'm going to open up card details there and our clothesline, and I'm going to be just reshuffling these things a bit like this, and so there's my clothesline. And so then if I call my script and paste it here, then what happened here? Card title something. Oh, because I actually included it as text, not as a variable. So let's just try it again, and then we again have a problem, and that is because the text wrap function adds new line characters instead of typing a new line in there. So okay, so the wrap text is a good function, but it is not exactly it doesn't exactly work the way we need it. So I'm going to add a replace there. So how does that work? Let's just test this. So this is my string, and here I want to replace all /n with /n like this. Excellent, this is what I want. So I want to add this to the end of my script here, like that. I'm going to reduce the font size again just so everything fits. So let's try again, clothesline script, and yay, it's almost good. It's not perfect, but is it not perfect? No, it's actually surprisingly good. So that's our test title multi-line, and there's our box. We can play around with the positioning of the items. That could be done. For the time being, I think I'm going to be happy with this and move on with the last part of this exercise, that is to get the current line in my script. So let me just do a bit of investigation of how that actually happens in. So I found the part of the script I was looking for, and that is right here. So I get the active editor with this line, then I get the cursor, then I get my active line, and from the active line I want the want to get actually the card title already, and the card title, so this line, I expect that I'm going to be on the line of the header. So this line will look like something like this. It may have multiple hashtags, a space, and then the title, and that can be whatever, multiple characters. I'm going to use a regular expression to extract that text, and I like to use this website regexer.com. This is an excellent place to experiment with these items. So I'm expecting that I'm going to have actually one or more plus signs, and then I expect to see one or more white space characters. So that's the \s is a white space, and then I actually want to get everything in the line, and this one I want to place in a capture group. So this is going to capture me the title text, as you can see. So this is the regular expression I want, and if I come back here, I want to match this, and then the question is, how does a match work? I never remember these things, frankly. So we are going to now experiment with this in the console log, if I ever find my console log. So let's just create, so this is going to be my title row string, and then I want to match this, and it says that something is not, oh, because I have two dots here. Excellent. And then if I match this and I take the first element of the list, then that is the value I'm after. Of course, you can add all sorts of error handling to the code if you want, but for the time being, I'm going to be assuming that people use the code correctly. So now, if I come here and I say this is a new card, then I'll have this row active. I'll press Alt-E and I start my clothesline script, and then I come to Excalidraw and I change to raw mode. I paste, this is my new card, and if I change back from raw mode, then I actually should have this link which takes me to my new card, and there's the text, my new card, which is exactly what I wanted. We can also try it with don't need to be an artist, that's a longer text. I click clothesline script, it's actually copied. I'll need to do something that I don't want these empty lines to be inserted after I press that, so we'll work that out in a second. And I come here, I paste it, and I change to change back and forth between raw mode and normal mode, and I actually have my text neatly here. Now I think this is actually almost perfect. You see that the text is right there. For sure I can move this around. There are a couple of niceties missing. So first of all, I don't want this empty line, but this is why the empty line appeared. You see I had 2 empty rows after my script, and that created the new line. So if I run my script now, then there is no empty line added, so that's solved. It would be great if I got a random color. So let's just add that piece to our script. My approach to the random color is going to be one of simply creating a list of colors from right here from the background colors. I'm just creating an empty object here, and so I'm going to create a list here, and I'm going to call this const colors, and this is going to be a list, and I'm just going to place some of the colors here. And what I'll do is I'm just going to choose one of those colors by random. So I can go and choose some of these nice colors, and then my clip will be of a random color. So I did the editing. And that's clip color. Sorry. So what I did is I found the color here, I replaced it with my clip color variable, like that, and I created this array of colors, which I just simply went through the different colors in Excalidraw that I like, and I created this array of different colors, and then I use this function math random gives me a random number between 0 and 1. I multiply it by the number of colors, and I take the floor, so the lower value of that, because the numbering of the array starts with 0, so element 1 is addressed with color 0, and actually this is not yet good because I need to say colors, and I choose an element from this array like this. And so here's my clip color. Let's see if this now works. So I'm going to delete that from right there, and let's just again run our script, and I'm changing to raw mode. I'm pasting this, and I'm going back to preview mode. Oops. And I have my nice random clip color. We can try again. I'm going to run my script, and I'm coming back here and pasting this, and then you see, oops, it's always selected. Here's my new clip color. So I think this is good as a demonstration. As I said, there can still be or there's still some work to position the text, but I'm already happy with this, and frankly, if I need to do this with some of the text, I can live with that, but this is also following the same logic. This can be corrected. Finally, I just want to go here and implement the hotkey for templates plugin. Let me install hotkey for templates. That's great. Let me enable it, and then let me go to settings. What I want to do is I want to add a shortcut key to my new template. So hotkey for templates, and here I'm going to look for my clothesline script, and I activated this as I want the hotkey for that, and I come up here and I look for my templater clothesline script, and here I can add my hotkey, which is going to be a I don't know, a Control-Alt-C is excellent. That's going to be my shortcut for a new card. And so now if I come up here, introducing sketchnoting, I'm on the active line. I press Control-Alt-C, I come here and I go ahead and paste, and with that I need to get used to clicking the right place. I have inserted my card here. I wonder what happens if I paste like this. Then I need to double click up here to get it properly positioned. That's still a bit of a drag, but I think overall I was able to improve the speed of my workflow significantly. So now I can close my script. I no longer need it. I can move my drawing to the right hand side, and then I can work on my cards here, and whenever a new card occurs to me, so this is a brand new card, and here is the description, something like that. I stand on the heading line, I press Control-Alt-C, and I come here and paste, and I switch between the two views. Then I actually have my new card here. By the way, I have a shortcut for this. I need to go to my hotkeys, look for Excalidraw, and I should have a shortcut here. Toggle between Excalidraw and Markdown. No, that's not. The lock unlock, Control-Shift-E. So then I'm here. If I press Control-Shift-E, then that switches between the two modes. So that's actually quite handy, because I can paste my new card, and if I want to transform this into a nicely rendered format, I press Control-Shift-E twice, and with that I have my next card inserted. Again, I think the process is much better than it was before. Yes, it is not yet fully perfect, but I think overall this text positioning can be done in a couple of minutes in terms of looking into how it works, and that is going to make this complete. So I did the additional editing. The end result looks like this. So if I copy and paste my element here and just do this cycle of preview or raw and preview, then you can see that now the text is placed well as the link is neatly in the bottom right corner. What I did a couple of things to clean up the text. So I did some minor tweaks. I actually set in the beginning for Excalidraw Automate, I set the style to be center aligned, and I selected font family 1. In a way, font family 1, which is our Virgil font, is the default, so this is not so important. I did a change here. I removed, you remember, we had the match or replace all element here that moved down to the script right here. And what I did is I actually recognized that when I was adding text, I was adding the wrong text, and that impacted the sizing of the text, because I was adding not the multi-line text but already the escaped text that you can find here. So anyway, this resolve this now. When I'm calling add text, I'm sending it the proper multi-line text. I also went ahead and cleaned up a bit the sizing of the element. So that's a bit of a tedious job. There are two rectangles here. You can see this is rectangle 1, and then further down here is rectangle 2. Rectangle 1 is the big rectangle. Rectangle 2 is the rectangle for the clip. And what I did is I went ahead and just cleaned up these numbers. So this was 66.45 something, and this was 470 dot something as well. This was 70. So I actually rounded these numbers, the width, the height, the x and the y coordinates of the main rectangle. I did the same with the second rectangle, making sure that the proper width, so the width of this is now the same as the width of the other. So just to make sure that I have a proper line at the top of the clip. I also went ahead and just played with the positioning of my link here. So this quotation mark in the bottom, and I was just, so this was pure playing with numbers. I experimented until I found that 132 and minus 417 places my link for details in the bottom right corner. You see previously it was a bit further up. And I also added this variable here to position the x coordinate of the text. So this is our text itself that we are displaying, the multi-line text, and this I calculate such that I take the x coordinate of the card, and then I take the width of the card, that's 77. I subtract the width of the text and divide that by 2, and that's how I decide where to place my text. And as you could see, the end result was quite nice. It placed the text right where I wanted to, and now this whole setup is, I think, working quite nicely. So I hope you found this interesting, and you got a bit of insight into how Excalidraw Automate works. You got a bit of insight into the Clothesline method, as well as hopefully altogether this resulted in a script that you can reuse as well in your own workflow and will help your visual problem solving, visual thinking. Thank you.